Oh, at the beginning, it's very simple. I was working in Austria during 10 years ago. I was working in Austria, not Australia, Austria, and it was so great. And it was the first time I saw a company, small company, 30 people, but we were working together, and they mixed illustrator, developers, architect, project manager, graphic designer like me, motion designer, and we were working on a big room, in the same room, and the mood and the idea was so great. It was a great moment for me. And in France, the company like that, everything was separate. You know, there is a developer company, there is a marketing company, there is architect company, but there is no relationship between these different company. And for me in Austria, it was the first time I saw a company. It's like a dream, you know. Every people were working together, and from everywhere, you know, Italian, Dutch, German, French, Spanish, very young people. And when I went back in France, I was little disappointed because, say, okay, in Paris I was freelance, and I was not excited by a company. You know, like when, you know, sometimes as a graphic designer, you dream to work for Pentagram, for example, or for another nice company. But in France, I was very, say, wow, it was a little boring, you know. And for new technology, they're just asking money, speaking about money. It was just in 2000, before the big crack of internet, and just about money. Say, okay, money is very good, but it's, for my work, it was not very interesting. And I found, just by luck, a very nice office, a flat, a very nice flat. Of course, the price was too high for me alone, and I just asked people, a friend of mine who was graphic designer, do you want to share a space? And 1 week later, we were 5 or 4 at the beginning. We were 4 on the same place, and we start to work together. And after 6 months, we start a company. But every time we are working for new technology, it's sometimes for a book or publisher company, but a lot for video or interactive media. You have to be smart with a financial problem, for example, because there is a lot of, we are working currently with 2 big clients. It's Chanel and Orange, and there is no money problem. Okay, Orange, it's 8 in France. I think that they win just for this year 8 billion of euro. You know, it's okay. It's just mobile phone company and everything internet, and they are very. It's a very interesting company because they use researcher. Yes, it's not engineer company. You know, they understand they have to improve the future, and of course the money. But people who, I'm working with a small part of Orange, and they are very interesting, and Chanel too. It's very interesting. But the other project we did with a very small company, for example, for a new publishing company just on a website or something like that, is very hard. There is very money problem. It's impossible to pay. For example, now they say, okay, we can pay. They say, wow, we can pay, but we have to work, and there's a lot of fight, of course, but we have to find a solution, a smart solution. Okay, if you don't have enough money, okay, you have money, but not enough, I expect. We have to be smart and to find nice or original solution or new solution. You know, perhaps you don't need 2,000 euro for creating a website. Perhaps you can use a blog system at the beginning, and we will see in 6 months. Yes, I think it's as a designer. Sometimes we have to find a money solution too. You know, money solution, not just technical or shape solution. And sometimes when you speak with your client, you say, okay, but perhaps you know, for WAD, for example, yeah, if I have to restart with WAD, we just have a very cheaper system, just with a blog system, and we have to share the information, and no advertising. and I'm sure it will work. And yeah, we have to find some solution. 2 new projects. I'm still working for new media. I like so much this kind of work with Orange, for example. I'm very fascinated with a mobile phone now. What is possible on an iPhone, for example, iPhone is really incredible, and there is a lot of possibility, a lot of opportunity, and very interesting. Another thing is I'm professor. I'm used to teach with students, but for the next year, from September 2009, I start to be professor in my old school, Art Deco, in Paris, in master degrees, and in Switzerland too, in Geneva. It's just 3 days, 3 hours by train. It's not so long. For research program, it's very interesting. It's not with it's students like MIT or Media Lab. You know, they try in Europe to create a Media Lab system. You know, to mix semiologue or philosopher, anthropologue. You know, people who are thinking about what people do or did. Engineer and graphic designer or industrial designer, and it's very interesting. I hope it will be very interesting. And I'm starting a new publishing company. A very good idea now in this financial mess. A publishing company just for paper, and because with a friend of mine who is an engineer in 3D software and everything, we like so much paper, and I'm sure there is a future for the paper. And the future, we will use paper, we will use object, and there is a lot of new things to do with the paper and object, with computer, with connection, with a lot of things, with new technology. And I think there is, and we will try to prove it's not for the money. I think we will lost a lot of money with this small company, but just to enjoy and to play with the new possibility of paper, just by folding sometimes, or just with RFID system, just with a sensor system. We were creating 10 different prototypes, just ID like that. For the moment, we don't speak about text, we don't speak about contents. It's a little silly because I'm used to start by contents and to find a good system. Now it's the opposite. We try to find system, and after we will speak about writers, stories, picture or illustration. Of course, I've some idea, but for the moment we are just looking for what is possible now in 2009. What is possible with that? We try to this small publishing company is Édition volumique edition. At the beginning we start about volume book, like a children book, and I'm fascinated by the book for children with a pop-up, with a yes. Now you know it's because there is a competition with video games. And paper, you know, the good example is the book for children. Now they are so interesting, so innovative, and so incredible because, you know, my son is 6 years old. He is very young to play video games, but 7 years old or 8 years old, there is 2 solutions: video games or books. And you know, video games are so addictive, so interesting too. And publisher for children, for paper book, they decide to create a very new kind of book, and it's so incredible, and it works. It works, and my son, for example, he prefers book for the moment. We will speak about that in 2 years, but yeah, and me too. And he enjoys so much paper now, and it's a good solution for newspaper. For example, I'm sure we have to find a different shape because this very big and large newspaper is not very useful. You know, on the subway, on a table in the morning, you know, you can put a lot of information, but I think it's not now. It's different. On the subway in Paris, you know, you are like that. It's you can read. Every people know they are reading news on the mobile phone, and yeah, journalists, for example, or they have to think. Okay, it's not a competition against mobile phone and newspaper, for example. We have to find a good relationship.